Hi guys, good morning. My name is Jen and I live here in Australia with my husband 4 years ago. If your dream is to live and work here in Australia, then this video is right for you because I am going to give you a guide on how to migrate to Australia permanently. And this video is about a permanent visa, the two types of permanent visa to live and work here in Australia. The first visa is the Subclass 189 or the Skilled Independent Permanent Visa here in Australia. And the second one is the Subclass Visa 190. So if you'd like to take a risk on applying a permanent visa here in Australia, then this video can help you on what are the processes that involves on how to apply a permanent visa here in Australia until you will be granted a permanent visa here in Australia. So keep on watching, and I know it's a bit complicated, but if you have so many questions, queries and clarifications on my video, then please feel free to comment below and I will try to answer all your questions. This is the official website of Australia Immigration and Citizenship. Make sure that you are in the right website so that you will not be scammed of your application. Then you go to visas and select permanent resident. In this video, I would like to discuss to you on how to apply Australian permanent visa for skilled migrants. The first permanent visa that I would like to discuss is the Skilled Independent Visa or Subclass 189 and Skilled Nominated Visa or Subclass 190. There are some similarities of these two types of visas. First, it allows you to live and work in Australia permanently, and it is points-based criteria and must score at least 65 points to be eligible to apply for these visas. And there are differences between these two types of visas. For the Skilled Independent Visa or Subclass 189, it is independent, no need nomination from any state, and can choose to live anywhere in Australia, but you don't have additional 5 points. For the Skilled Nominated Visa or Subclass 190, you need to apply for state sponsorship to be invited to apply and commit to live 2 years in the state who sponsored your visa application, and you have additional 5 points to your score. So let's discuss first the Subclass 189. So this is the points table for the Subclass 189 where you can check if you are eligible or not. So these are the criteria that you should consider: your age, English language skills, skilled employment experience, educational qualifications, specialist education qualification, Australian study requirement, professional year in Australia, credentialed community language, study in regional Australia, and partner skills. This is the points of your age. If you're at least 18 years old but less than 25, you got 25 points. At least 25 years old but less than 33 during your application, you have the highest points, 30. At least 33 but less than 40 years, you got 25 points. At least 40 but less than 45 years old, you got 15 points. The next criteria is your English language skills. If you have competent English, your point is 0. Proficient English, you have 10 points. Superior English, you will get 20 points. So these are the list of English tests that measure your English language skills. Just use one out of these 5 tests and make sure that you get the required band score. For example, if you want to choose IELTS, International English Language Testing System, You need to get at least 6 for each of the 4 components. That defines competent English. Proficient English, score at least 7 for each of the 4 test components of IELTS. Superior English, score at least 8 for each of the 4 test components in IELTS. So what you need to do is to book and pay any of those English language test systems given, and the original test results will be submitted when lodging your skills assessment and visa application. The cost for IELTS ITP in Australia is $375. And I know in the Philippines it costs probably around 11,900 to 12,000 pesos. And the price for TOEFL test is $215. The next criteria to consider is your overseas skilled employment outside Australia. If you are working less than 3 years, you have 0 point. At least 3 years but less than 5 years, you have 5 points. At least 5 years but less than 8 years, you have 10 points. And the highest point is if you are working at least 8 years, you will have 15 points. Things to do on your overseas skills employment. First, you need to find your occupation in the skilled occupation list listed in Australia Immigration website. 2. Submit your skills employment assessment application to the right assessing authority of your skilled occupation. For example, your occupation is electrical engineering technician, so the assessing authority of your occupation is TRA. This is what I'm talking about, the skilled occupation list in Australia, and you can find this in Australia Immigration and Citizenship website. If you scroll down, you can see this, the skilled occupation list. You type your occupation in the search area and then select a visa, which is visa 189. Here it is. The electrical engineering technician appeared. And there you have it, the visa 189 skilled independent. It's available. And at the bottom, you can see the assessing authority, which is TRA. There you have it, the TRA website. TRA stands for Trades Recognition Australia. And what you will do here is to create an account for you to start your migration skills assessment. And this icon here, the online portal, is the one that you will need to submit your migration skills assessment. So how much is the cost for your skills assessment? The answer is, it depends on your assessing authority. For example, TRA migration skills assessment is 1,000 Australian dollar. But if your occupation is an engineer, let's say you are electronics engineer or electrical engineer, then your assessing authority is Engineers Australia, and your migration skills assessment fee is 1,270 Australian dollars. The next criteria to consider is Australian skilled employment in Australia. In this case, you must be in Australia and you have a skilled employment here. And these are the points that will be given to you if you have Australian skilled employment. In our case, we don't have any Australian skilled employment, so our point is 0. The next criteria to consider is educational qualifications. A doctorate from Australian educational institution or a doctorate from another educational institution that is of recognized standard is 20 points. At least bachelor's degree from Australian educational institution or bachelor qualification from another educational institution that is of recognized standard is 15 points. Diploma or trade qualification from Australian educational institution is 10 points. And attain a qualification or award recognized by relevant assessing authority for your nominated skilled occupation as being suitable for your occupation is 10 points. For example, you are from different countries and you finished bachelor's degree, then you can claim 15 points if your educational institution is recognized standard here in Australia. Otherwise, if you're not sure, you need to get your educational qualification to be assessed by Vitases, or you just claim 10 points in order for you to be safe. The cost for qualification assessment is 250 Australian dollars. But remember, this is only optional. It depends on your circumstance. For example, you are a graduate of bachelor's degree and you're only applying for a technician, then you just need to claim 10 points, so you don't need to send your application to Vitases. The next criteria to consider is specialized education qualification. The requirement is a master's degree by research or a doctorate degree from Australian educational institution that included at least 2 academic years study in relevant field. So you will be given 10 points if you meet this criteria. The next criteria is Australian study requirement. You must have at least 1 degree, diploma, or trade qualification from Australian educational institution that meets the Australian study requirement, and you will be given 5 points. In our case, our point is 0 because we did not study here in Australia that time. The next criteria is professional year in Australia. If you meet this requirement, you will be given 5 points. In our case, we don't have any point. It's not applicable to us because we don't have professional year in Australia, so our point is 0. And if you need further information about this, just refer to Australia Immigration and Citizenship website. The next criteria is credentialed community language. If you hold a recognized qualification in a credentialed community language, you will get 5 points. In our case, it's not applicable to us because we don't have this criteria, so our point is 0. The next criteria is study in regional Australia. If you meet this requirement, you will be given 5 points. But in our case, we don't have any point because we did not study here in Australia, so it's not applicable to us, and our point is 0. The last criteria is the partner skills. If you have a partner or a spouse and also an applicant for the visa, and also under 45 years old, had competent English, and had a nominated skilled occupation the same as you, and suitable skills assessment from the relevant assessing authority, you can claim 10 points. And 5 points if your spouse or de facto partner must also be an applicant for the visa and had a competent English. And for you to be eligible for the award of these points, your partner must be an applicant for the same visa subclass and must not be an Australian permanent resident or an Australian citizen. And 10 points if you are single or your partner is an Australian citizen or permanent resident. Honestly, this criteria is not given to us before, so make sure that you have a lot of research before you claim 10 points if you are single. Remember, you must get skills assessment for your partner if you claim 10 points and must be under 45 years old and must have a competent English. And these are also very important requirements when you apply for the visa. The first is health requirements and the second is a police clearance. But these requirements will be needed when you will have a case officer, and your case officer will contact you and will advise you when to get the medical and the police clearance. Just refer to the official website of Australia Immigration and Citizenship for further explanation about these requirements. So this is a sample computation for electrical engineering technician occupation. The age is 32, it's 30 points. English language, IELTS test, 10 points. Skills employment, 8 years, 15 points. Australian skilled employment, none, 0. Educational qualification, diploma, 10 points. Specialist education qualification, none, 0. Australian study requirement, none, 0. Professional year in Australia, none, 0. Credential community language, none, 0. Study in regional Australia, none, 0. Partner skills, 5 points, and a total of 70 points. So therefore, you are eligible to apply a skilled independent or nominated visa, permanent visa here in Australia, because the requirement is only 65 points to be eligible to apply. So now you know that you are eligible to apply electrical engineering technician, and look for the available visas. It has 189 skilled independent, so you can apply for that visa. And now let's discuss the skilled nominated visa or subclass 190. Actually, the criteria are almost the same as the subclass 189 except one, which is the nomination. If you have a nomination from a state or territory, you will get additional 5 points. You can claim 5 points for the nomination if your skills occupation is listed open in their territory or state, and you need to apply to be nominated for the visa 190. There are 6 states in Australia and 2 territories, and you must check each state and territory immigration websites so that you will know the skills occupation list open in every state and territory. For example, your skills occupation is electrical engineering technician, and you would like to check South Australia if your occupation is open. So you visit this website www.migration.sa.gov.au. Then click on South Australia skilled occupation list below. And here it is, electrical engineering technician appeared. But unfortunately, South Australia will not accept offshore applicants because of the coronavirus. Let's say, for example, South Australia will now accept electrical engineering technician. So you can start your application by clicking Start an Application at the top right. So all you need to do is to fill out this online application form and submit to South Australia Immigration. And then if you will be invited, through Skill Select, and you will be nominated, and you can get 5 points. And here is a sample computation of the subclass visa 190. For the age 38 years old, 25 points. English language, 10 points. Skills employment experience, 8 years, 15 points. Australian skilled employment, 0. Educational qualification, it's diploma, 10 points. Specialist education qualification, 0. Australian study requirement, 0. Professional year in Australia, 0. Credentialed community language, 0. Study in regional Australia, 0. Partner skills, 0. And then the state nomination is 5 points. So a total of 65 points. So basically, if you can notice, your age is getting older and you will get smaller points. So the state nomination is additional 5 points for you to reach the 65 points. If you are not sure how much points you want to claim, then Google the points calculator of subclass 189 or 190. Then tick either of these 2 permanent visas, fill out the form, and then after that you can see how much points you will get. So what's the cost to apply nomination from states and territories? The answer is it depends on every state and territory. In South Australia, the cost for state nomination is 330 Australian dollars. Generally, these are the steps on how to lodge your permanent visa application, whether it's Visa 190 or Visa 189. But we have our own steps based on experience on how we submitted our visa application. So please bear with me. So here are the steps on how we apply permanent visa here in Australia. The first thing you need to do is take English language test. Make sure to get at least proficient English, so that's 10 points as requirements for most assessing authority. Number 2, submit migration skills assessment. Do the to-do list for your overseas skilled employment and take the sample electrical engineering technician to be assessed by TRA, and you should have a successful outcome letter. Number 3, submit separate assessment for educational qualification to VITASIS, but this process is optional only. In our case, we did not submit this assessment because you only claim 10 points and our highest qualification is bachelor's degree, but if you are not sure how much points you want to claim, then you may need this process. Once you have the results of everything you need to submit expression of interest, namely the English language test result, which is proficient English at least, migration skills assessment, which is positive or successful assessment, and educational qualification assessment, which is just optional, then it's time for you to submit an expression of interest in Skill Select. Just remember, when you submit an expression of interest in Skill Select, please fill out the online form honestly and correctly to make sure you will not waste your money and chance to be invited to apply a permanent visa in Australia. This is the window where you can create an expression of interest in Skill Select. Just click this Skill Select in blue form and then you will create your own expression of interest, and after providing all the details, just submit it and then wait until you will be invited. If your visa is Subclass 190, then you need to submit a state nomination application right after submitting your expression of interest. Submit a state or territory nomination application to the state where your skilled occupation is available or where you want to live in that state or territory, and you do the to-do list on how to submit state nomination or territory nomination application, and make sure you fill out online form accurately and honestly. All you need to do is to wait until you will be invited to apply for the visa. When your state nomination is approved, you will be invited to apply Subclass Visa 190. If your visa application is Subclass 189, you do not need to apply for state nomination. For Subclass Visa 189, you just need to submit an EOI and wait for the invitation letter to apply the visa. And when you receive an invitation letter through email, you create an EMI account to apply for Subclass Visa 190 or Subclass 189. In your EMI account, fill out the visa application, lodge your application, attach all documents required, and pay your visa application. Just follow the steps and you'll be right. Just always remember, fill out the forms correctly and honestly. And this is the EMI account window screen, and at the bottom, you create an account here. So, how much is the cost for Subclass Visa 189? For the primary applicant, the base application charge is 4,045 Australian dollars. For the additional applicant charge 18 years old and over, it's 2,020 Australian dollars. For the additional applicant charge under 18 years old, it's 1,015 Australian dollars. And the cost of Subclass Visa 190 is the same as the Visa 189, except the additional applicant charge under 18 years old is 1,010 Australian dollars. And the last but not the least step is to wait and always check your emails. There will be a case officer assigned to your visa application and will contact you if he or she needs additional documents, if any. a police certificate, and medical. Then after you have submitted all your documents, including the police certificate and your medical results, a golden visa grant letter will be emailed to you. Important reminders. Make sure you take notes of your usernames and passwords every time you create accounts while processing all your online assessments and visa applications. Be honest and accurate, and all the best to your visa application. If your dream is to live and work here in Australia, but you don't have enough money to pay for a migration agent, so why not process your own visa and do it yourself? Because I did it, and there's no reason that you cannot do it. All you need to do is to gather all the informations and know all the processes and what you need to do next to be successful. And remember, you just need to be honest and be accurate on all your applications in all the processes, so that you will be granted 100% or 99.99% on your permanent visa to Australia. If you have so many questions, queries, and clarifications on my video, then please feel free to comment below and I will try to answer all your questions. So I thank you for watching this video, and all the best on your permanent visa application here in Australia, and I'll see you when I see you. See you in Australia. Love you. Bye.